We're jumping into part 2 here of the Tusk Talon versus the Tusk Recon. So we're doing an off-the-cuff impression. I don't know how you guys buy tires, but one of the first things I do, like a weirdo who's addicted to rubber, I go up to the tire stand and I just start feeling all of the knobs. The Recon on the left is predictable. They advertise it as a hybrid tire for off-road, kind of an everyman's do-everything tire. It's really a gummy tire with a ton of knobs on it. I'm not a fan of this tire. It's got rave reviews, and I think for certain terrain it's really good. It's really good for rocky terrain. So I live here in the St. George area. For places like Sand Hollow, this tire would be really good, except for maybe in the sand, but you only get in the sand to connect trails. Sidewall's really soft, carcass is really soft. Overall, a very comfortable tire, very comfortable on rocks. Like the big negative, it doesn't brake very well, which is because it lacks any scoops to really dig into the terrain, especially in soft and intermediate terrain and kind of the in-between of that, which is a lot of southern Utah riding. But then we move over to the Talon. In part 1, as I was saying, I was thinking that the hybrid has a good feel, it's comfortable, but I want it to be a little stiffer and to have more aggression. Boom! Right as I was making the review for this Recon, they came out with this on the Rocky Mountain website, so I picked up a pair. It is still gummy-ish, but what I'm noticing, especially even though this one has a little bit of use on it, these knobs have some stiffer material underneath. I think it's because they're raised a little bit, whereas these are kind of right against the carcass without any bevels. They're stiffer. There's a sipe here on this outer lug, which will help for cornering in intermediate terrain. It still has the wider channel dual knob in the center, but it's a lot wider. The other thing that I'm noticing is it's got these scoop designs with these inner knob channel thingies, the kind of large integrated sipe pattern with the sipe design. That's super interesting and cool. They're mirrored. It's not a directional tire. So this is really cool. The reason being that these scoops, depending on which orientation your tire is in, so you would have to ease into it with the brake, but you can catch soft and intermediate terrain with this and brake a lot better. That is exactly what I'm looking for. That is the big pet peeve with the hybrid Recon that I do not like. So let's see the sidewalls. Oh yeah, the Tusk has a significant... Man, this is a weird tire. So it's got kind of a gummy inner, but then you go to the outer, and it's stiff. It doesn't corner well because it rolls. It's too soft. I think this will still be comfortable. Not as comfortable because this is just such a softer tire. This absorbs so much vibration and impact, but this one will corner better and you'll have more control for if you're a fast rider. Okay, let's move on to the fronts. Comparison is a T35 on the left, and on the right is the Talon. I did see it's directional. So if you're low IQ like me and you put on tires backwards all the time, user beware. The design on this kind of looks like more of the Maxxis tires and the Michelin's. The T35 has the alternating big knob. So I'm doing that thing. I'm all feel in my tires. I want to know how the outer knobs feel, if they're hard, soft, siped. There are no sipes on these. So the T35 has these little concave cutouts. So even though the T35 is worn out a little bit, I can tell that the Talon has stiffer knobs on the outside somehow, which is crazy. But the inner ones are softer. Sidewall is pretty stiff. Stiffer than the T35, but I remember the T35 being pretty soft up front too. I think in general, compared to the T35, one of the things about the T35, and I think it's the lack of knobs in the center, when you hit a certain hour mark on the front, it becomes really washy. Just likes to dive in and out when you're cornering and doing any kind of technical stuff where you have to turn. You can just tell that there's more knobs in the center, and they're siped, so they're going to squish and move around and really get into the terrain, which is going to be good for direction and maintaining your line. Yo, just wanted to clarify something really quick as we head out to test the Talons. On the Recon, I was really negative about it, but it's not a bad tire at all. It's very, very soft and very comfortable, so I want to make that very clear. I just don't think for this Utah desert terrain it's the best choice. I watched a couple of other reviews and people really like it as a general purpose tire. I think for people who ride in softer stuff, I know there's a lot of people who avoid that, but for people who ride in the softer stuff and then kind of go in between all of the different types of terrain, the Talon's looking like a big winner. It's already kind of giddy to see how much better it does at braking, because you're going around some of these creek bed corners or going through a wash and you're like, oh my god, a giant boulder! Ah! It's a little scary on the Recon sometimes. So here we go. Alright, we're just getting one good look at these brand new tires before we head out. Tusk Talon. Got a 110 118 in the rear. And we got the 80 121, so this is the skinny version. This is a 51M. This is rotational. And we're going to take the Talon through some of these washes first to see how much better they are than the Recon, or worse. Let's find out. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Brake test. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, we're getting real aggressive here. Wow, sideways. Emergency brake, because of that rock. Okay. I would have slid into the bush there with the Recon. Okay, with the braking alone, I'm loving this way more than the Recon. Take the Talon through some semi-hard enduro rockiness. Yeah, it's not really semi-hard at all. It's also not that long. What sucks about the Recon is it's really good in what we just did, but for that single track connecting and some of this looser stuff, I like the Talon way more. Jump test. Woo! That was fun. Part 2. We got our Talons. Here's the ride-along review. Same exact canyon run. Basically the same conditions. It's a little earlier in the morning. It's a little humid, but I'm not really noticing that the ground gives a crap. It's super dry and super dusty. There we go. Just getting the hang of this tire. It is fresh, so it has really good traction right off the ground, or out of the gate rather. Definitely not as comfortable as the Recon in terms of the tire absorbing all of the impacts. So the sidewall being stiffer, the science checks out, bro. It did really well on the hill climb, but way better than the Recon. The Recon would fishtail. For the hill climbs, nothing beats the Battle Cross and Starcross. They're just crazy good. Oh yeah, just had to brake there. So much better than the Recon. Wow, where's everybody going? In terms of general speed, I still find it very comfortable on the Talon. Going into this. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, this tire can brake. Whoa. I can already tell that I'm going way faster with this tire. I definitely feel the back is more planted and secure. It's not rolling as much. Okay, hill climb time. I did not struggle with this. Didn't do any dabs on the Recon. Here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like this tire, guys. Spoiler. Spoiler! I really like this tire. I like it more than the Recon. I can just tell. I like the stiffer sidewall.
I like the triple scoopy knob design for braking. It's just so nice to have more traction in the opposite direction that you want to go. The wear pattern, unfortunately, is looking similar to the Recon, which is not that great. It's that cheap rubber. That's what you get for going for affordability instead of performance. If you want to spend on gummy tires that don't last very long but can take you to the moon and back, you got to get some of the IRC ones, I guess. Now that they've broken in, the knobs, I would say, definitely in the center, still stiffer than the Recon by a little bit. Surprisingly, the ones on the outside have really loosened up. Yep, so that's the back. The front, I really like the front, guys. That might compete with the Max Cross. I feel like this will just go wherever you point it, and it holds. So it looks like my theory, I'm not a tire scientist, but it looks like my theory with these siped inner lugs really help you dig deeper into the ground and then catch. They either fold in or fold out. It doesn't matter though, but they're pushing away material and really hooking up. And they alternate the different sizes so it can do all kinds of siping. So yeah, they don't make a Recon front, so there's no comparison there. I like that front way more than the T35 brand new. I know that for a fact. T35 is good, but my preference is to buy the more expensive tires, but I know that could be a lot. You can get both of these for less than I think an X30 after tax, especially with the sale going on right now, which is kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, it's hot and humid. It's beautiful out though. That's my review. The soft to intermediate back and forth, the Talon is amazing.